What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first edition of the Awesemo.com PGA Chalk Report. I am Jason Roslin at DFS Golfer 23, and I'm starting this new short form video just to go over some of the highest owned golfers of the week and then give you the top, or I should say, the highest priced golfer that will be the lowest owned, or somebody that's under 10% that might be one of the studs of the field, or at least priced that way by DraftKings. So the reason why I'm doing this video is because most of my success in this sport has come from having a stud or a golfer that is under 10% owned, at least one, if not two. So ownership becomes very, very important. Also, I've had success fading some of these very, very highly owned golfers and looking the other way and finding a reason to fade them. So hopefully you get a lot of this report. Of course, if you would like to find more information or the entire field's projections, of course, we offer them on Awesemo.com. They are some of the best projections in the industry. I, of course, also do a full article just about DraftKings ownership titled Against the Grain. And as you can see here, you can find more information. Of course, that is a premium article. And what I do there is I go over the expected ownership, projected ownership, and give my top plays from each price range that may be against the grain. The title of the article is called Against the Grain. And also, I put on our weekly results there. So if you want to see how good we are at projecting out this ownership, I put the exact results on every single week. And we have been averaging just about a 90% on the RSQ, the relative to square index. So pretty good there, pretty competitive. So without further ado, let's learn about some of the chalk of the RBC Canadian Open this week. First golfer we're going to talk about is Dustin Johnson and then Webb Simpson. Looks like it went a little bit too quickly there. But in any case, Dustin Johnson, 11,900 this week on DraftKings, 12,600 on FanDuel. Coming in, looks like he's going to be projected about 30% owned on DraftKings. Very high for a guy like that. He'll be the highest owned golfer on DraftKings, very likely. For some reason, he's known as a big-time hitter, obviously, and has struggled with his wedges a bit this year. So I'm interested to see that everybody's looking to pour into him as the most expensive golfer in the field, rather than go to somebody like Brooks Koepka, who's a couple $100, who has definitely beaten him head-to-head the last couple of times. DJ, second at the PGA Championship, 28th at the RBC. So recent form is good, but it's not fantastic. It's good, but for the number 2 player in the world, it's something to be expected. So 28% seems kind of high there, not going to lie. So I'll probably end up taking the under on this. But of course, if you want my full analysis on what I'll be doing with Dustin Johnson, check out my Wednesday article called The Winning Element. That is a Awesemo Plus article, and that will give you exactly what allocation I'll be having DJ and where I'll be playing him this week. Next guy we're going to talk about is Webb Simpson. Webb Simpson's coming in relatively similar, I shouldn't say similar form, okay form to Dustin Johnson. 29th at the PGA and 18th at the Wells Fargo. Looks like he's going to be 21% or plus 20% owned on DraftKings and a plus 30% on FanDuel. FanDuel's price is a little bit cheaper than the average versus his DraftKings price, so that doesn't surprise me. However, it seems like a little high. Granted, Webb Simpson has been a fantastic player over the last 18 months to a year, winning the Players' Championship last year and a couple of other good finishes. But it seems like people are piling in on Webb's ability to hit the fairway here, which is obviously going to be paramount, and being one of the best wedge players in the game. So no surprise to see Webb Simpson plus 20% this week. You get obviously a significant price decrease from all of the other players above. So again, no surprise to see Webb Simpson coming in plus 20% this week. And I probably will look to play him right around that number. But again, for my full analysis, head to my Wednesday article. Next, we turn our attention to the tall figure from Sweden, Henrik Stenson, coming in well over 6 feet. Seen him in person a couple of times, and let me tell you, he is tall and intimidating. However, he comes in at 9,100, or at least turning to his numbers. He comes to 9,100 this week on DraftKings, 10-6 on FanDuel. Recent form, though, isn't that great. 37th at the Memorial and 48th at the PGA. And while he's making cuts, you certainly want to be seeing a little bit better finishes from one of your first guys in the lineup. 18% on DraftKings. He comes in as the third highest projected golfer. 17% on FanDuel. So quite expensive for a guy that hasn't had a top 10 in a couple of starts, especially against some similar fields. So maybe a little bit of tapered upside here for Henrik Stenson, coming in at 18% owned. The last guy we're going to talk about in terms of high ownership, he's in the top 5 projected this week, and that's Keegan Bradley. And man, Keegan Bradley crushed me last week with the missed cut at the Memorial. Before that, 29th at the PGA Championship. So the form isn't fantastic for him either. 8,500 DraftKings, 9,900 on FanDuel, coming in at about 17% owned. And I think what people are looking at here is his ball striking numbers. That's the only reason why you'd ever really want to play Keegan. Also has a little bit good success on shorter courses as well for some reason. Means he's probably pretty darn good with his wedge game. So it looks like he'll be coming in right around the 17% owned, like I said. Seems a little bit high, but certainly has the ability that we've seen in the past year to compete against the best in the world. So those are our top 4 or 4 of the top 5 owned golfers projected this week on Osmo.com. Of course, you can get the full entire slate's projection by becoming an Osmo.com premium member. But before we get out of here, we of course want to give you a little bit of juice, a little bit of content to use. So we're going to also focus on one very low-owned golfer this week who is coming in great form. And this golfer that we're going to do each week is really going to be somebody that is more of a stud, priced in the top upper echelon, because of course there are so many golfers in the field. 126 this week, maybe a little bit more. Normally there's 156. So there's plenty of golfers that are going to be owned under 5%. But we always like to find the studs that are not going to be popular. And Shane Lowry fits that bill this week. 8,600 on DraftKings, 10K on FanDuel. Came 8th at the PGA Championship and 3rd at the RBC Heritage. So form is pretty good. And like I said, looks like he's going to come under 10% on DraftKings, well under 10% on FanDuel. So Shane Lowry will probably make a good amount of my lineups this week, or at least 2 or 3x the numbers that you see in front of you. Again, for my full analysis, head to the Winning Element, where I focus on all of this and, of course, all of my plays and allocations. So hopefully you've enjoyed this short little video. We'll be back here each and every week for it to preview the top 4 or 5 owned golfers and, of course, the one low-owned player that might be a big benefit to your lineups this week. So until next week, and everybody, cheers and good luck this week. Thanks.